Hello, so about burials in pagan Europe, at least the Germanic part of pagan Europe. So we all know that if you lived near the sea or the ocean, or perhaps even a strong river, people would burn the bodies on a floating raft of wood. And some people would burn the bodies on the ground, but then take the ashes and then put them in the ocean or the river. So we all know this traditional, well-known pagan style of dealing with the dead body after somebody has passed. But a less known one that was popular, I know for certain in Germany, and I'm sure in other parts of Europe where you are not accessible easily to waters. What people would do is they would burn the body, collect the ashes, and then they would plant a tree in the ashes. So they would take the ashes, and then they would find a spot, and then they would plant a tree. And then this would become a family tree. So what they would do after that is, once they had the one tree planted, then they would continue to plant more and more ashes at the base of this same tree, and that would be your family tree. I know in Germany that was done, but I'm not certain in other parts of Europe, but I know for certain in Germany this was done. And also what they would do when there was birth of a child with family trees, they would take the umbilical cords and then they would wrap it around the family trees whenever there was a new birth. Because it was all about the cycle. It was about your ancestors being reborn as your children and your grandchildren. So this is why the family tree held such importance when it came to death and childbirth in pagan Germany, and it was probably practiced throughout all of the northern pagan Europe, most likely. Like even in the Slavic tribes, they probably did this as well. But I know for certain they did in pagan Germany. And so that's another reason why trees were so sacred to our people, as you can tell. Not only did they know that the trees had souls and were alive, but also that they had little fairy folk living inside them as well. So not only was the tree alive itself, but also that had little fairy folk type of things, living inside of it. And then on top of it, you would make it, if you made it a family tree also, right? So you'd bury your dead, you'd hang your umbilical cords of the newborn. And also people would do mating rituals. Some people would go there and they would mate to breed, and they would have sex underneath the family tree, so that way their great-grandparents or whoever it is that died could be reborn in the act of that sex, so that child, when the impregnation happened during the sex under that tree that night, that particular ancestor could come back and be reborn. It was another little tradition and ritual that some people would do sometimes. So I just thought I'd explain a bit more about trees and paganism and the family tree, and where the whole idea of family tree came from. And, Tschüss.